Welcome everybody to Three Beers Into Topic. This one might be a Patreon exclusive. We don't know yet because technically it goes up on Benny's Beard channel, and we are lacking Benny's Beard.
Oh, good point.
So, and we today,
Well,
if
I mean,
you
it's like-
hadn't noticed,
It's like Benny's Beard light.
this is true.
I mean,
It's a younger's Benny Beard.
I don't have the point, 'cause
they
I don't
share,
wanna
like,
do that with my beard.
I mean, he's just a variation on the same genetics.
This is true.
So,
I mean, you're not
Some
wrong.
would say the better one. But
There you go.
Okay.
But today we have Gary and Andy, as well as myself.
I'm the camera guy.
He is the camera guy. He is usually behind the camera because with most beer,
Yeah.
most beer has gluten in it. Gary is gluten-free.
Yes.
And so today I have gotten us 3 alcoholic beverages. I say alcoholic beverages because this was literally the only gluten-free beer that they had at the liquor store. And so we also have a hard seltzer as well as a cider. So
I've never had this cider before. I'm actually excited to try this.
the when I was asking the person at the front desk or the register or whatever, said it was very good and one of their highest selling ciders. So
Okay.
here's hoping that she was not messing with me to sell me.
Yeah, like she was like, yeah, no, this one's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try that.
That Pabst Blue Ribbon over there, that's one
Yeah.
of our best sellers.
That's one of our
I
best.
still
That's
say
one of
we
our
need to
best.
do an episode where we just try
like the
Three
cheap
terrible
garbage
beers.
beers.
PBR, Natty Ice,
Bud Light.
and Bud Light.
Bud Light.
All right. So
All right. Cheers.
cheers. This is the Ultimate Light Golden Ale from the Omission Brewing Company. It's not bad.
It's good.
I mean, it's not one that I would drink
Well,
a lot of, but
the
it's
thing
definitely
is-
an
yes,
alternative
it's-
that tastes pretty
so,
good.
all that I really know about this beer, because I've had this before, is that, like it says on the label, it's crafted to remove gluten. So they brew it like a normal beer.
Okay.
And then it goes through
That
a
actually
process.
explains it.
Yeah, and then it goes through a process.
mystical magic
They do, actually.
to remove all of the gluten.
Yeah, and then they like it goes through some kind of process. So it's not technically gluten free. It's like gluten reduced.
Okay.
So there are still probably very small trace
Right.
amounts of gluten.
I'm sure there's a
Gluten's
small
in it.
amount, but small enough that if you do not have celiac disease,
Right. Oh yeah,
You
you'll
got
be fine.
yourself a
Yeah,
beer.
you'll be fine. Exactly. It's not bad. Actually,
No, it's actually not terrible.
Yeah.
yeah, I actually don't know what I was expecting because I've never had a gluten-free beer. I've never needed to find out what the taste difference was. So it
Yes.
tastes very, very close to normal beer, but with the explanation that makes
It's almost like a real beer.
it is.
Because it's fake now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like real beer.
Well, it's like people who don't
Yeah.
eat gluten aren't real people.
Yeah, we're lizard people.
Lizard people. This
I haven't seen you at any of the meetings.
I think that lizard people are
I'm the camera guy. I'm behind the scenes, man.
they're gluten free because the gluten messes with their shape shifting abilities. So they're like, oh crap! It's kind of like Doom Patrol where Rita's face occasionally just like starts to melt. It's the same situation, except it starts to show the scales.
I think we should really, like for our topic, we should really figure out why Ben hates the lizard people so much.
That should be our next conspiracy. We should actually dedicate an entire episode of the Conspiracy Cast to
Ben.
why Ben hates the lizard people. Not why he hates them, why he freaks out about them.
Yes, because he
but
doesn't hate them or anything. He reacts
Okay.
a lot different than
Okay,
Benny
so-
reacts to most things.
But what we've noticed is that when you mention lizard people, he's like, oh, okay. When you say lizard people from space, he's like,
Yes.
no.
I got
don't know
it. So
what
Ben,
the
maybe
connection-
Ben's part of the lizard people offshoot that actually live on Earth.
Yeah.
And then when the space ones showed up, they were like, man. So he doesn't like those ones.
He's like, oh, okay. So like rival lizard
Yeah, like
people.
rival
okay.
tribes of
Yeah,
lizard.
yeah.
Bloods and Crips.
That would actually.
but it's the.
mean,
I was
I'm
thinking
Earth
more
and
like
person.
I was
space.
thinking more like rival fraternities or something, but sure, the
guess-
gangs.
I guess so.
rival gangs.
For some
space
reason,
gangs.
that's what popped into my head because of that South Park where
I just thought of that under average.
who is it? Jimmy goes to join the Crips because he's crippled.
Yes.
They don't know it's an actual like gang. Yeah.
So
Oh,
good,
man.
so good.
Don't they bring peace between the gangs?
This is
in
even
that
better.
episode,
In the like
Crafted Jedi says
gym.
Yeah, Crafted Jedi says Kryptonians and Daxamites. That's a much
there you
better
go.
analogy. That's
There
a
you go.
great. That is a fantastic analogy. Yes. But he's like, no, not the
Mutants
space
and
lizard
Inhumans.
people. Mutants and
There's
Inhumans.
another one. They're pretty much the
Yes.
same.
Lego Monster
Yes.
says Benny would make a terrible Green Lantern. Imagine what would happen if he had to go to a lizard planet.
Trekkies and Star Wars fans.
There you go.
There you go.
That used to be an issue. Now people
damn.
just don't care.
Trekkies.
I like how the Star Trek fans have like a name for their fandom.
Trekkies.
Trekkies
Star Wars fans
and
don't-
Star Wars
yeah.
fans.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
Star
up with that?
Warsians.
Warsians.
There is a
That
term.
sounds
I
too
never remember it
sophisticated,
though.
yeah.
That whenever I think of that though, I always think of that Futurama episode where they're like, it was the Great Star Wars Trek or the Star Trek Wars.
Yeah. Get a Prime Directive.
Have you ever seen the movie? This is our topic now.
This,
Yeah,
this
we're
is
talking
okay.
about
Sure,
that.
yeah,
When
why not?
Benny's
This is
not
what they
here
like,
and
yeah.
doesn't have like a story, it's
Yeah.
legitimately just
We BS.
we talk.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Fanboys?
No, I
So,
feel like I've heard of it
I've heard-
before.
I've heard
It's a
of it,
very
yeah.
funny movie. For
Is it
anyone who wants
recent?
to- no, it was
Okay.
probably 5-10 years ago at this point. So the movie is about. It's set in 1999, and the movie is about. There's this group of friends who are all Star Wars fans.
Yes.
One kid has cancer.
Yes,
and he's
I
going
have
to
heard of
die
this.
before Episode 1 comes out.
Okay.
So their plan is to travel to California, break into Skywalker Ranch, and see the movie before it comes out.
Isn't it like a huge letdown at the end? They're like,
Well, that's how they kind of.
Okay, yeah.
So
Like, what was that?
I don't want to. It is a very funny movie. For
Right.
anyone who wants
Yeah,
to check it
yeah,
out. So
yeah.
I won't spoil
Sure.
everything.
Okay.
But at one point they end up detouring slightly to go to the supposed birthplace of Captain Kirk,
oh, okay.
where a star, like a statue. has
William
been erected.
Shatner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not William Shatner.
Oh, Captain
Where
Kirk.
supposedly Captain Kirk will be born.
Oh, okay.
Like his
okay, okay.
hometown.
Yeah.
And there's
Okay.
like a group of Star Wars or Star Trek fans there, and they start making fun of him, and they're calling them Trekkies and stuff. And it's actually Seth Rogen.
Of course.
And he's
course,
like,
of course,
first of all,
it's Seth Rogen.
Trekkies is derogatory. We are now Trekkers. So what you're saying doesn't even make any sense. And then they get into like a little fight, and like one kid like bites off the fake Spock ears from the one.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
There was an old MTV cartoon back in the early 2000s that did something very similar. It took place in a dorm room. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of this cartoon. And you had these like neighbors, these dorm room neighbors, who like you had the Trekkies versus the Star Wars.
Right,
fans.
right, yeah.
There's like this constant feud between the two. Somebody come up with that. It was an early 2000s MTV cartoon that took place in a college, and I cannot remember what it was called.
While they're looking
yes,
that up.
undergrads.
There you go. See?
That's
Jack
what it was called.
Scott,
Yeah.
all the
There you
time.
go.
Yeah.
All right, let's crack open our next one.
what
Do we
is
want to
it,
do the seltzer
Dan?
or the cider?
Seltzer.
Seltzer it is.
go in this order.
So this is a truly hard seltzer with hints of wild berry. I have never had a seltzer before.
I've never had an alcoholic seltzer before.
So cheers.
Cheers. They sneak up on you.
With like a bat?
No, in terms of the actual like
Yeah.
alcohol,
That just tastes like a normal drink.
it tastes like a seltzer water.
Oh, yeah.
and it's 5% alcohol.
That's not good.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not, I don't know if I like the taste. It feels a little,
I don't like seltzer water to begin with,
Yeah.
honestly, generally.
I got it
Yeah.
mostly because I didn't want to get like two ciders.
Yeah,
I
no, it's
felt like
fine.
it would be a good
These are good.
variation.
When you want just like a little bit of alcohol, you don't want like a whole drink.
I'm
Right.
sitting here with like 20 of these things. Like, I'm just having seltzer water, baby. I'm
So this
staying,
is-
I'm just staying hydrated.
Yeah, what's your alcohol volume? 5,
Oh,
10,
damn.
15, 20, 35. 40%.
I'm at 120% alcohol right now.
So this is what you were saying, or
Yes, probably
Yeah.
me.
about your friend.
I have a friend whose husband didn't realize that these alcoholic seltzer waters, because they're becoming more common now, he was taking them to work, and he didn't know that they had alcohol in them. Because even the can, like the artwork, none of it said alcohol.
Oh no!
So
you look at this, and if I didn't
Yeah.
see the 5% alcohol, I would, or
And
the
so-
big
Honestly,
ass
yeah, I wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't
contains alcohol.
if I.
she was the one who brought it up to him. She was like,
alcohol.
where are these? He's like, where are these going? Or something like that. And he said, yeah, I've been taking those to work, putting them in my lunch. And she was like, those are alcoholic. He had
You're
no
a
idea.
doctor.
Yeah, he
No,
had no
just
idea. And you're a doctor.
This would have made Mondays in the Army a whole lot better.
What are you drinking? Seltzer water. Because you're not
Just
lying.
seltzer water.
You're not lying. It is a seltzer water. It's like lying about your coffee. What are you drinking? Coffee.
Irish coffee.
That's
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you're not lying.
Does it have Irish cream?
You're just
yeah.
excluding a detail.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that
Yeah.
lie?
So
would
yeah,
that
yeah,
be
yeah.
considered a lie?
I wouldn't.
I've got
wouldn't
my
consider it.
German breakfast right here. I've got my I don't know, summer beverage here. My Irish coffee over here.
This is going to start talking to you about your problems now. All right, now we got to talk to you about this.
Oh,
Are
about-
you just drinking at home all the time?
No. No.
It's in the garage. He's like, "This is my only time." Crying, waiting
Actually,
for Final Fantasy
you know
VII.
what? The light, yeah. When the kids go to bed, when both kids are finally asleep, it is like a party. I'm not even kidding. We get out the ice cream, the popcorn, the drinks. Like it is like a disaster area.
This is like the.
I'm all together in a blender.
I love it because this is the like prime example of a parents' party.
oh yeah,
That is.
it's all the
We
things.
got the ice cream.
That's because
popcorn.
Yeah, that's because when like, and I get it now as a parent. You know, when your kids are around,
Right.
there's no such thing as like your treat.
Yeah.
Or your
Oh,
food.
right, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always some. I want some. Can I have some? And you're like, sure.
It's like when you date someone
fine.
that's like, "I'm not going to order fries. I'm not hungry," and then starts eating your fries.
It's like that all day.
Why are you glaring at the camera? You're not dating anybody. You sad, lonely man.
But yeah,
Ouch.
so we. Oh, wow.
You're not wrong. That's why it
Wow.
hurts.
Wow.
Sorry.
Do we need to talk about your problems?
No, I'm good. I mean, I got that deep-seated anger issue, but other than that, I'm fine.
Yes. So yes, it is like a party when the kiddos go to bed. Put on the Orville.
That was like
watch a movie.
savage.
That was mean. Can we move on from this?
Yeah, let's move on to the cider.
Let's move on to the cider. Okay, Dan, what are we drinking?
We are now drinking. I'm just gonna read it in the order that it goes because I don't know. It is a Joker from Ace, California, dry apple craft cider. This is
Since 1993.
since 1993. I am older than this beer beverage. It is a 6.9%.
Wait.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that's tart.
Ooh,
How would you describe this hard cider? It's very tart. Yes.
But it is.
ooh.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's an alcoholic green Jolly Rancher,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
slightly sour.
I'd say it's like
I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's not
I'm
horrible.
not huge on ciders to begin with. I don't
Yeah.
generally like the taste.
I don't drink ciders.
it's kind of a flat flavor.
yeah.
I'm actually not a big fan of this. Now, there's a cidery in Firestone here in Colorado, not too far from where I live, and they make an amazing cider. So it's actually one of them is called Bee Hoppy. So it's actually like cider and hops,
Don't worry.
which is really good.
Be hoppy.
Bee Hoppy. Yeah.
Don't
You're not the first person to ever make that
know.
joke. Yeah.
I really hope
Yeah.
that they also have a beer called Don't Worry,
Yeah.
so that they can
But-
Don't Worry or Be Hoppy.
But the cidery is it's really cool. So you can go there and you're gonna get like fresh oven baked pizza, like brick oven pizza.
Ooh.
And there's like outdoor games and
I'm going now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
this
really cool.
Actually,
Yeah.
sounds really cool.
Yeah. And they have like gluten-free pizza because that's one of their biggest markets is the gluten-free
Right.
market. So they do gluten-free,
Which in
pizzas
Colorado
and-
is a prime
Yeah.
market.
And they've actually made like a big, it's like an in-ground pool table, but instead of pool balls, you use like colored soccer balls.
Huh.
It's really cool.
That sounds
Yeah.
really cool. What's this
Yeah.
place called?
Wild cider.
Wild Cider.
Yeah. Check it out, Wild Cider, Colorado. And they're in their orchard. They're actually going to be holding like weddings and stuff. I think they've already started. It's just a really awesome place. Yeah.
Let's check it out.
All right. So, of the three, which is your guys' favorite in order?
Beer.
Yes.
is my favorite.
I would go.
I guess I'd go beer, cider.
yeah, I would have to
seltzer
agree.
wise.
I think
would have
we're
to
all
agree.
in the same boat then.
Yes. Yes.
I felt like
Actually-
the seltzer wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It didn't have any taste.
Yeah, that's my problem with it. It almost feels like the corpse of a berry was in there, maybe at some point.
It was almost like they had a wild berry and they're like, okay, we have to
Well-
spread this out across all these cans.
That's the issue is that with like regular seltzer water, the flavor can be kind of flat because there's not really much in it.
Yeah.
So you just get like citrus flavor and water.
It's always like, have you ever wondered what the sweat of a strawberry tastes like? There you go.
An alcoholic strawberry.
Yeah, an alcoholic strawberry.
There you go. Yeah, the beer though.
The beer's bad.
I like the beer because if you did not tell me it was gluten free, I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It just tastes like a light beer.
It tastes like light beer.
This is definitely one
golden
that
ale.
if you have friends that are gluten free and you want to drink with them,
I mean,
you
you
will
should.
enjoy this as well.
You should just get rid of those friends. To be honest.
They're not real people.
Oh, they're better than you anyway. So
That too. Just the worst kind of
they have
person
better
to
thi-
meet though.
They
is
have better things to do.
I feel like the ultimate person you don't want to hang out with would be a gluten free vegan
Oh.
that does CrossFit.
That does CrossFit.
CrossFit.
There you go.
You will never get a sentence in
No.
that will not circle around to one of those three.
Gluten-free
Yes.
Vegan that does
Yes.
CrossFit.
I'm pretty sure that person would just die. Doesn't mean they're vegan, so I mean they're not gonna have the strength to CrossFit.
Whenever I think vegan and not having the strength, I always think of that How I Met Your Mother. When the sister is like a vegan and she's
remember
like,
that one.
oh, Ted's eating some sort of meat.
I wish
and-
I had the strength to eat
Yeah.
a small animal or a baby animal. And
Exactly, and he's like-
well, maybe you need more protein.
yeah.
I don't remember that episode.
It's a
I
really
started
good
rewatching that.
That
show.
one's the one.
Yeah.
It's during the period where Barney's in love with Robin.
So the whole series.
No, Barney.
No, I know.
So the whole series.
So the whole series.
This is the one where he's truly like, I'm giving up sleeping around
is
to
this
be with
wait,
Robin.
This is
kind of
this
thing.
is like the first time they were together.
I think so.
Around
Yes.
that period.
Yes,
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I
'Cause-
don't
yeah.
remember the vegan thing.
Because it was
It was
the
just like
bride.
like
Yeah.
a one scene.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
It
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't a big thing.
Yeah. It,
Yeah.
It was a single episode and nothing else really
Yeah.
came out of it.
It was just a
but it
funny
was
joke,
just
yeah.
it was a great joke. So yeah, let's hear a
Well,
story, Gary.
right
Because
before-
you're rarely on here, so
I am
actually
rarely
I
on
do
here.
want to hear a story.
Just ask me a question. You guys got to seed the story.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah. Story time.
How'd you meet your wife?
How did I? That's sort of boring. It's a quick story. I'll share a few stories.
Okay. Yeah.
so
share a couple.
I was actually working at Starbucks in Target in Longmont, Colorado, and she came in. She had actually rolled her car going back to school in Grand Junction. So she rolled her car, dropped out of school because like things just kind of fell apart there. She couldn't afford school anymore, especially because she needed a car. And so she came back home, and then she got the job at the Starbucks in Target. First time I met her, okay, I was already in a relationship.
Nice.
And no, this is not where you think it's going. First time I met her, I was already in a relationship, and I'll never forget this, and she'll never let me forget this either. She comes in, drops off her information to give to the boss, and I thought she was really cute, But in my mind, I'm like, I'm already in a relationship. I think she's so attractive that I like won't even look at her. So
Yeah, that's not awkward.
She orders her beverage. I give it to her. I'm like, tall caramel macchiato. And I like wouldn't even look at her. I like walk away. And she, for the life of her, she's like, "What? I have to work with this guy? Like he can't
guy's
even,
a weirdo. He
can't
won't make
even-
eye
He won't
contact.
make eye
Yeah.
contact. He won't even look at me. And then later I told her it was because
Sorry.
I was in a relationship and I actually found her very attractive. And I was like, I can't go there. I can't go there.
Was that like your go-to line when you were trying to pick her up? Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know.
Yeah, I was.
That you were
That
so
you were so
attractive
attractive.
that
You
I
were so
couldn't
attractive.
look at you.
That you,
'cause-
you were
you're-
so attractive, I felt that looking at you was cheating on my current relationship.
And later, I actually found that same note that she left for my boss. Like, I probably found it like 5 years later in,
Right.
in an old apron. So I still
That
have
said,
that note.
this Gary
I
guy is
still
a
have
freaking weirdo.
Yeah.
Do I really have to work with him?
He's
Yeah.
really weird. I feel uncomfortable when he's around.
She also didn't like me at first because I ate chili out of a can.
That is weird.
That
On
is
my lunch
weird.
break.
I don't
Straight
honestly
out
know
of
if
the
we should
can.
be
That is-
friends anymore.
Yeah, straight out of a can.
Like, now
How
you
did
might
you
eat
meet
it
up
up.
with her after?
I
Yeah,
also
seriously.
ate an orange out of the garbage can.
Between this
What
and the
is
eye
going
contact,
on?
man, Jesus.
Because, okay, the chili out of a can was like I had a short break. I didn't feel like heating it up, so I just ate it straight out of the can.
So it was cold?
It was cold.
So you were
Cold
a
chili out of
hobo?
can. Yes. Yeah. So, hobo. And again, so I won't make eye
Even
contact.
they heated over a
I know,
fire.
it's true. How we even got married is like beyond me. Because this is going into another
I'll be
great
honest,
story.
it's beyond us now, too.
I'm very.
We'll make eye
concerned.
contact. Eating chili out of a can, which disgusted her. She was eating.
It disgusts
me.
She was eating an orange one day,
And she threw
God.
it away.
At
and
work.
Then in
At
Gary's
work.
mind, he's like, that orange has come in contact with
No,
the
no, no,
woman
no,
I
no,
love.
no. That's super creepy.
I know.
She was like, I don't want to eat this orange. Like, I wasn't making much money. I was living on my own, and so like food was not in
Right,
abundance.
food from the garbage. Sure, totally.
So, well, I was eating, but she had this orange, and she was like, "This tastes like diaper. I don't want to eat this anymore." So she like threw it in the garbage. I was like, "No, don't throw that."
and you were like, whoa,
I
yeah.
was like, "Don't throw that away. I'll eat it." And I like walked over. It was
God.
sitting. It was sitting on top of something sanitary.
Lord,
so I
Gary.
took one sliver.
How sanitary.
I took one sliver and I took a bite. I was like, "Yeah, that tastes like diaper." So I threw it away. After we were,
It is amazing you are now currently married to this woman.
yeah, and have 2 children.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm concerned
and then
about what they might, if they learn to eat
So-
chili out
Don't
of a
tell them
can.
this story.
So we dated, obviously, and right before we got engaged, like it was one of those. Our early relationship was one of those where like we knew we were going to get married. Her family kind of
Right.
knew. It just wasn't official yet, and I was moving out of my apartment to go live with my old youth pastor to save some money. He was like, "Hey, come live here. Like, pay off some debt, save money before you get married."
Right.
I was like, "Awesome." So we're moving out. Apartment's empty, and I borrowed her mom's vacuum. Well,
I don't like where this is going.
I don't know where this is going.
apartment's empty except for the vacuum and my wooden sword. So my single
Euphemism?
guy, what?
Euphemism?
No, it's an actual wooden sword.
just checking.
And so in my mind, I'm like,
Okay,
okay.
good. I'm gonna use that
I
as
was
a
like,
euphemism.
okay,
No,
the apartment's empty. I'm gonna swing this thing around and like a
Euphemism.
ninja.
Euphemism.
definitely a euphemism.
Euphemism. Yeah.
I like swing and break the one thing in the apartment.
Her
The
vacuum.
My soon-to-be mother-in-law's vacuum. And I had to explain
Why
it
did
to
you
her.
have a wooden sword?
Why don't you have a wooden sword?
I have 3 lightsabers.
I have a Lego foam sword
So-
from when I was a kid.
So I'm thinking to myself, I break the one thing in this empty apartment with a wooden sword, and I have to explain to my soon-to-be mother-in-law why I broke her vacuum. Well, you see, my apartment was empty, so what else do you do in an empty apartment? You swing a sword around.
Totally.
And you break the vacuum. So I repaired it and I fixed it. But yeah.
Did you explain to her how it broke? Mm-hmm. Like you actually like
Oh
told
yeah.
her? Okay,
Oh yeah.
okay,
It's like a running
yeah,
joke
how
now.
did they?
Yeah, it's a
how
running
did she
joke.
react to that?
She laughed.
I would.
It wasn't like irreparable damage. It
Right.
wasn't like destroyed. I would be proud if it was destroyed. So yeah.
I destroyed your vacuum with my wooden sword.
Gary just lost some coolness. Hey, this was Gary. This was
This
Gary.
was before
is-
Gary was gluten free.
It's true. I wasn't thinking clearly.
That's what it was.
Yeah, the gluten free just made him.
was-
That was when he became cool. Before he was like,
I met Marcy when I was 24. I was a completely different
How old were
person
you?
back then?
oh, when you were.
I was
24. I thought you
when I
said
was
she was
24.
24. How old was she? Just I don't know
20.
your.
She
He's
just
like
turned 20.
16. No.
No, she was 19 when I met her, 20 when we got engaged. Wait, right? Anyway, I don't know. It was a long time ago.
I've
So,
only met
I
her
can't
like
confirm
twice.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can neither confirm
So-
nor deny.
How did I meet
story.
Marcy? Yeah, that's how I met Marcy.
That's
It's actually a pretty good
That is-
story.
that is
That
pretty
was
good,
better than
yeah.
you.
She actually, well, it's
implied at
yeah,
first.
and it was serendipitous because I was only there because I'd gotten fired from my previous job. It was not for eating oranges out of a can.
It was for swinging his
sword around.
wooden.
His
And she was only at that job because she had rolled her car and needed to move home.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 very unfortunate circumstances that brought us together, and then
Yeah.
we were married and happy.
Life works in mysterious
So-
ways.
Yes.
As my mom always says.
And as we were moving out of our house, I was like, Marcy, I need to keep the tradition alive. This was just the other day. So
And you
I-
swung this wooden
No, I
sword
couldn't
around?
find it.
I was gonna say,
I
do you
couldn't
still
find
have
it. It was under my bed,
Aw.
like the whole time that we've lived there, and we got a bunch of people helping
This
us.
sounds
move.
like it's inappropriate,
Yeah.
by the way. My wooden sword was under my bed.
Even
you know,
while we were sleeping there, I knew I needed the defense
You
system,
never
so I had
know.
my wooden sword.
Like, yeah, I keep
Well,
a
actually,
gun by my bed. Karen's like, "Well, I have a
Aaron
wooden
Barner
sword."
sounds like you're Ted Mosby. That is actually why I thought of that story because we were
Oh,
just
'cause-
talking about not Modern Family, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of the flail.
Yes.
He was like, I got this flail.
My medieval flail.
Yes.
Or when they have the swords and
Yes,
she
the
sword
stabs
fighting.
Lily.
Yeah.
Why didn't we do this sooner?
Why do we do this sooner?
It's funny. So I actually started watching that show at a
man.
very low period in my life.
How much, mother?
Yeah, and I always and I had friends who were like, "Oh, dude, you're like Ted Mosby. You'll find your one someday."
I feel like
But if
everyone
you go
says
back and
everyone
watch
is
that
like Ted
show,
Mosby.
If I going back now, I started watching the show again.
Right.
Ted Mosby's an asshole.
Oh yeah.
He's
They-
such a terrible
Yeah.
person.
Neil Patrick Harris.
A lot of them are.
There's this theory that
that
that-
Barney is not as bad as
Right.
is because it's
Yeah.
all told from Ted's perspective.
so he's trying to
Yes.
make him look bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually have heard.
I
that.
can see that because I've also seen.
Because he's the only character that's like larger than life.
Yes.
That's like really just out there.
He really is. And someone actually did an analysis online of why Lily is the worst
Oh, she's horrible.
person. And you go
Yeah.
through it and like
Yeah.
She's horrible.
it will change your opinion on her
She's
drastically.
like manipulative and I can't
Oh,
say
yeah.
manipulative.
yeah.
well,
Hey, we got Benny finally.
it's like, so you go through any of your
Documentary.
favorite shows. You got to ask yourself with most of your favorite shows, would I actually like these people in real life?
Oh no,
No,
You would not.
it's just
me
like,
and the wife
you
watch
would
Friends
not.
all the time. I wouldn't be friends with any of them.
Oh,
Right?
they're horrible
Especially
people.
Phoebe.
Except Chandler.
Yes.
People tell me I am Chandler, but no, I would not be friends with Phoebe.
No, she's
she's
not.
awful.
She's
Ross
awful.
can't stand him.
I hate Ross.
He's a
wouldn't mind.
pushover. That man needs a spine. Seriously.
Well, I know he stood
And he's
up for
weird.
himself when they were on a break.
It's true.
It's
Yeah,
the
but-
one time
him
he
that.
stood up for himself.
Yeah.
The literal one.
If he
time.
really had a spine, he would have like.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that show, it is, honestly
That's
is.
why-
There's so
okay.
many of those shows where you're like, this is entertaining. But it's on top of that, it's also a show of, would you find it funny if there was not a either live audience or laugh track?
No. That's the.
Well,
Or
people
reactions
do that
and
on
stuff.
YouTube where they take
Yeah.
out the
They
laugh
take
track,
out the laugh
and
track,
it just
you're
seems like people are psychotic.
Yeah.
Well, what show is it? Big Bang Theory. People have done that with Big Bang Theory. It's like,
Oh,
okay,
oh,
here's
yeah.
this Big Bang Theory joke without the laugh track, and you're like, that was just awkward.
Yeah.
That wasn't funny at all. That's why the Seinfeld series finale was so poetic and perfect.
I never saw the
Because they
finale,
basically
actually.
end the series with these are horrible
These are
people,
horrible people.
Yeah.
and they deserve to go to jail.
Yeah.
And they do go to jail. Like they all go to prison
Actually, I
for
do
like
remember
15 or
that.
20 years or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like on trial, and everybody from the series
From the
comes
series
up.
comes through. Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty
so-
solid.
Oh man.
All right, well, we're
Okay.
at 28 minutes. Do we want to end here, or would you? Someone in chat asked how you met your wife.
Yeah, how'd you meet Edith?
All right, so
I like how this
Yes,
is starting.
that beginning. This is gonna be great.
no, it's fine. So okay, so sometimes I don't tell the full story. Actually, all right, the very first time I ever spoke to the woman who would become my wife was over Halo. I don't remember which
Interesting.
Halo.
Okay.
Okay.
It was Halo 2, no, it had to be
Yeah.
Halo 3, I would assume.
Okay.
I had recently gotten out of a very bad relationship while living in
Was this the one that said you
Yes,
were not
you're
funny?
not funny
this is the
relationship,
other one I
yeah.
had previously discussed on the show.
Yes.
So I had recently gotten out of a terrible relationship. Kicked her out of my apartment, as I previously talked about. So I finally had my own place. It was amazing. I had a big screen TV
You were able to swing around your wooden
all
sword.
the time, just smacking everything. Clear a coffee table with him, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Ben had recently gotten stationed at Fort Bragg.
Okay.
So I started playing video games with Ben online. So one night I got online, I was playing Halo, and then this very cute sounding Hispanic woman got online as well. And Natalie was like, "Oh, Andy, this is my friend Edith."
How old were the two of you at this point?
So I was 24.
Okay.
Which means she was 28.
Oh, she's older.
Yeah,
oh, I
she
didn't
is
know
older.
that. Okay.
Yes. So we're playing Halo, and I don't know if you've ever tried flirting over a first-person shooter. It's very difficult, but not impossible, because I managed it.
Challenge
well
accepted.
Accepted, right? So I mean, it was just like stupid things where
Yeah.
like we'd be playing like capture the flag or whatever, and I'd come over on the Warthog and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, baby, you want to go for a ride?" And then like her character would get in and we drive
Oh,
off.
man.
It was awful.
That
It was
honestly
terrible.
sounds like a scene from Red vs. Blue.
So
yeah,
both
sure.
you and your brother met your current wives playing a video game.
Yeah.
technically speaking, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, cut forward a couple months. I went down to Fort Bragg to actually visit Ben because I was living maybe 2 hours away from him
Okay.
at that time. I go down to visit him. went to his apartment. I was just sitting there. She came in to hang out. That was the first time we actually met. And I'm going to tell this part of the story. I don't know if she's watching. She's going to kill me when I get home. So she comes in the house. I sit down from the couch. I say, how you doing? Nice to meet you finally. She walks maybe 10 feet away with Natalie. And then I can hear her whisper, I think he's too young for me. I heard her. She didn't know that.
That's great.
So from there, it transitions to like, we were just friends for a while. I always, every time I saw her though, and I didn't realize Friends was her favorite show.
Right.
Every time I saw her, I did the Joey, the
how you doing?
There you go.
Yeah. Didn't realize it was her favorite show. She thought it was funny. Cut forward a few more months. I'm joining the Army. And 1 week before I went to basic training, we went on an actual date.
Okay.
Had a great time.
Yeah.
But figured that was it and call it good. Well, then she started writing me when I was in basic training. Then when I got out and went to Fort Lewis, we kept in touch, texting, talking like that. Came back, we went out again when I got back for leave and just kind of kept in touch. So in the span of when we actually went on our first date to when we got engaged, we had probably only physically seen each other 2 months, maybe, something like that. Because then I went to like Afghanistan. We kept in touch as much as we could over there. Yada, yada, yada. Came back and then got engaged, actually.
Nice.
Like 4 months after I got back from Afghanistan.
Wow.
So and it was just one of those things like before we actually physically got married and then before we actually physically got married, we probably had only seen each other physically maybe 4 months total.
Wow.
And then when we got married, a week later, I had to go back to Fort Lewis for 6 months. And then I
Okay.
finally ended up getting stationed at Fort Bragg.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
So it was one of those things.
So
yeah.
between meeting and let's say between like dating
dating
and
yeah,
getting married, how long would you say that was?
between we got our first date and actual getting engaged and then married, maybe 2 years,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. It was really fast for Marcy and I. We started dating, and then I think it was maybe less than a year and a half later we were married.
Really? Wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was pretty quick. I mean, like when
Yeah.
everyone says it, but it's true. Like when you're just like, yeah, this makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, this is.
So for
Yeah,
me,
what?
so I always maintained because I've had a lot of really bad relationships.
Me too.
So after the last fiasco where I kicked the woman out, I was like, that's it. I'm done with actual like relationship.
Right.
And so I actually never referred to Edith as my girlfriend.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
remember
told
this
us
part.
Before we got engaged. Not once. And I was actually on a 25-day training exercise in Washington State at Yakima Training Center, which if anybody's from that area, it's a hellhole. I'm sorry. And a buddy of mine was talking about when we get back, he was going to visit his girl and he was going to ask her to marry him. And he's like, dude, you should just ask Edith to marry you. He's like, you guys are together. It's fine. And I was like, no, we're not. Like, and I wasn't dating anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, we're not dating. It's fine. We're just, we see each other and it's good.
Right.
And he goes, all right, let's be 100% honest here. He goes, how many times do you call her in a week? I was like, once or twice a day. And he's like, okay, well, you and me go out to the bar all the time, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, do you ever try to pick up women? No. He's like, are you trying to see anyone else? No. He's like, you're in a relationship. I was like, damn it.
You're right.
And then the day we got back, I went and bought an engagement ring.
There you go.
There
And
you
then,
go.
Like a week later, I was engaged. So,
Well, thank you for that friend. That's awesome.
yeah.
My now mother-in-law was the one that told us we were getting married.
I remember you mentioning
Yeah, we were
that.
sitting in the backyard, and Marcy and I were just sitting there, and we're talking about something, and she goes, "Well, and I just know you're going to marry my daughter, and you're going to be my son-in-law." And I was like, "Okay, all right, let's start talking about this."
Okay.
So we literally started planning the wedding long before we were officially engaged, because I wanted to like get the ring and ask the dad and everything.
Right.
But yeah, we were like planning the wedding way before that. Yeah. So.
Well, we'll finish with my story. I'm single. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Three Beers and a
That's such a
Topic.
sour note.
But hey, let's be
We
honest.
appreciate
though.
all you
You're a
being
catch, Dan. You're
It's
a catch.
only because of your awful personality. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining in today.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys later.